You guys wish that I give a little inside look on the latest short that I made and how I created the boss fight, the custom gun, and basically all the mechanics and sound effects in it. And today we're gonna do exactly that. I give you a little insight on how I created this. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Alright, and here we are. This is the inside, the mechanics of the short that I made, and I have to be completely honest, the complex, obviously the building without the mechanics, was completely freestyled. I didn't even plan anything. This was actually not even meant to be a boss fight gun thing, whatever it basically was in the end. It was meant to be a gun range for the custom gun, and it was much simpler than this is right now. I had to add a lot of stuff, so it basically was a lot of freestyling when it comes down to that. That also shows in the galleries. I basically only use like 2 galleries, basically all of the imposter stuff and a little bit of the resistance stuff, which came in very handy when creating like a very basically boss fight scenario, because there's a lot of stuff which is really good for that. So if you ever want to go for a boss fight in like some kind of like super secret lab, anti-resistance galleries are perfect for that. However, the main thing which people are curious about are the mechanics of this and what is basically going on here. So first things first, a lot of people always ask me how I create this custom guns. They're pretty easy to do nowadays because we don't really have to build custom guns anymore. So you basically take whatever gun you want. So for example, the explosive goo gun, gonna take out the device, look for the item placer. This is the newest device which can handle items. And you can basically just put any gun in here, and then you can also rescale it and just basically use it however you want. You can rotate it, rescale it, make it more fun. And obviously the most important thing is turn off that little glowy thing, which makes them obviously look like Fortnite guns. Or gives them like the feeling that they have to be picked up. So you go into the settings, and then in the settings, there's the show rarity effects. You can just turn that off. It doesn't really work for all the guns, as you can see. It doesn't work for this gun specifically. That might be for the newer guns, and some rarities I guess do not do this. So for example, if we take this gun and do the same thing here, go to the rarity effects, this one should just turn off, and now you basically have a normal sniper skin, which you can put wherever you want, and you can customize it to your liking. And then in the end, you obviously have to be a little bit creative and also have to give it a nice name. So in my case, this turned out, and then obviously if you want to pick it up, everything shuts down and the boss starts going out. For the windows, I obviously used a very simple technique, put a prop mover to it. Yes, you can go here and actually place this inside and it will still attach as long as you copy it and do not touch anything else. It will still attach even if you put it like inside multiple props, it will still only work for that one thing. Then you also had to make sure that the timing was right of everything. So this one only needs to go down 2 meters and 6 meters in seconds. And then they perfectly shut down, and it also looked like something is happening rapidly and very fast. For the lighting, I had actually 2 things which are happening. One is that I obviously placed a bunch of customizable lights, mainly the ones which are obviously shining down, so it actually had a look, because obviously the normal lights in Fortnite Creative doesn't really give that much of a shiny look. So if we delete this, you can see that this area is completely black, which is obviously not what we want. We want some lighting in here, we want some atmosphere. So make sure that you light out everything, like that you put some custom lighting under each light that you actually have. Some of the lightings are better, some of them are worse. And then we obviously had the same for the red lights, but we obviously have to turn them off at the game start. So you can see all of them are turned off. I can turn them on. But as you can see, they are obviously turned on as soon as the boss. So I had multiple setups where like just different light turns on when the boss comes out, different lights when I press buttons, stuff like that. Super basic stuff basically. But the most important thing here is to get the atmosphere right is actually also have a sky dome, which makes the map a lot darker and make it look a lot better. Because as you can see, I have a sky dome right here, which is like basically completely black. So if we turn this quickly on, this makes obviously the feeling of this a lot darker and just gives it a little bit harder vibe. Which is not possible if you just use the normal settings of Fortnite Creative. So in this case, I basically had to use a Skydome device, which then only turns on if we start the boss fight or starting the sequence. That's always a good thing if you want to give a little bit more atmosphere in your maps, maybe add a little bit like fog in the back. You can use the Skydome device very easily for that. Also, a lot of people ask for the smokes and the doors. These are obviously the VFX creator, not the normal one, the spawner. This is a custom-made VFX, which I created, obviously turned off from the game start. These are just like normal smokes here. Nothing crazy, nothing special, but I think it looked really cool when opening a door. Really gives a little bit more vibe. Also gives a little bit more atmosphere when the boss is walking out. And the boss walking out was probably the most annoying thing to create in this whole thing, because it just wasn't walking out. You maybe saw my short where I showed how the boss was basically punching this wall the entire time, which I guess is due to the path just wanting to go there for some reason. So you can see it's like 3 pathways. One of them is here, and it basically, just wants to go through, not the door, it wants to go through the wall. For some reason, it is still a little bit bugged. But I figured out a nice way to prevent that, so I just placed a barrier so the boss can only walk in that barrier, which only leads to the door. So we basically solved that problem with that. And then everything combined turned into the sequence where you basically want to pick up the gun, and then the boss fight starts, and the boss spawns over here. I almost forgot to tell you about the sound effects which I had in this game. So there's like multiple sound effects which are actually in the game and I didn't edit it, but the sirens that I put in are edited in. So if you're wondering that, these are just something that I edited over in Premiere Pro. But there's a lot of sound effects which you can create in Fortnite 12, like the whoosh from the doors closing down. So it's not like that Fortnite doesn't have any sound effects or any good sound effects, but I would actually highly recommend using the VFX spawner for sound effects instead of using the actual speaker, which kind of has these sound effects, because this one has more like general sound effects, and the speaker is more of a Halloween edition sound effects. So yeah, and that wraps it up. If you still have any questions, please leave them in a comment down below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully that answered some of your questions, and I will see you guys back in the next one. Bye.